and welcome to this week's vlog. Alright, so today's little reading Dippit is that reading can give you, can reduce stress more so than, say, like playing video games or just like, or going out for a walk. That it just creates such a different world where you can put yourself in someone else's shoes. So I think that's kind of great, like where you can create an environment where you can read. Alright, so that is my kind of Dippit for the day, and I'm just gonna get on with take a break from staring at a screen, from staring at a book, and I'm gonna go out for a nice little walk and to see what's really happening and going on. But reading can help you handle stress better. Alright, bye! Alrighty, so I just thought that, does anybody know any good book binders? Because my book here is in need to get rebound, and I was just wondering if anybody could help me out with that. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, and as you may be able to tell, the Inkblood Sister Scribe, I always take my dust jackets off when I read them. Does anybody else do the same? Right? So if it ends up looking a little floppy or weird, that's why. But I'm more inclined to get myself a book bound, because that book is Voices in Time. Love it. This book was like written in the 80s and I think it's really ahead of its time. It's really like about what I think our society could be moving towards. It's very futuristic, living in a bubble, and I think there's going to be great benefits to that, but you never know. But anyways, I digress. I must carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Alright, bye. Alright, as you may be able to see here, because I'm a very privileged young woman, I was gifted, I went over to my friend's place, and she gave me all this like bibs and bobs of yarn that she's no longer going to use anymore. And while I was hanging out, I ended up rolling a bunch of it. So now I'm going to have this like sweet little bag of all this odds and ends, which I can then don't know what I'm going to do with, but at least I have it. Yeah, so as you may see, this is the yarn that I have. The lid is from a Rubbermaid container, and I just went through my Rubbermaid container and I pulled out a few more little odds and ends of like these small little balls. Not too sure what I'm going to do with it. This could be the future, kind of like little doilies or coffee cozies. I'm not too sure, but I know this is the yarn that I want to get rid of first, and this is the yarn that I'm always going to keep right by me so I can make the projects that I'm going to do first. I may end up giving some of these away, or just end up throwing them out, or just maybe used for other like kind of craft purposes, just because like I can't really do much with it. Like for example, I'm just going to reach in. Like really, like what can you do with a ball this small? I don't even know, right? And I'm not a big fan of like these like kind of mishmash like quilts where it's a bunch of different colors made into one. I like patterns. I like the kind of cohesion, the pattern of it, the stuff that makes sense. And I mean, like something like this, which has like a cardboard cylinder inside, makes it look bigger than what it actually is. And I am going to try to make sure that it fits all into this container. Not too sure if all of it will, but one can try, and one I am going to try. But yeah, future project right now is just to ball all these. But anyways, gotta move on. Alright, bye! Alright, so today's fun reading Dippit is that reading can help delay the early onsets of mental illness, which I think is kind of cute and a lot of fun, and that I think that, as we all get older and just getting back to this whole empathy thing, getting to understand other people and why they're in that position, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, and, just trying to keep yourself aware and alive at a certain age definitely can give you a help out. So, yeah, thought that was a little fun fact for you. Alright, bye! Alrighty. I've only read a chapter of Inkblood Sister Scribe, which sucks. But at the same time, it's long chapters. But I have been focusing on balling all my yarn, which I will hopefully get most of it done tonight. And I'll be able to show you how great it looks. Like, now I have this like big pack of like the small little yarn. And I just found out that some acquaintances are getting married. So I think I'm going to make like a mix-mash like little like quilt for them. Or like sewing something, I don't know. But now that I have all this yarn and I have it out and I know, I have to make them something, right? Because I mean, if you're not using something, you have to lose it, right? But long days, I have a bit of a headache, so I'll probably read a little bit more while the rest of my yarn and go to bed. But yeah, successful. Always make time to read, because it is the best thing you can do in life, right? It helps you out in so many different ways. Alright, bye. Alright, so today's reading Dippit is that sleep reading can help you with sleep. Yeah, it can help you sleep better, which I think is quite fantastic to think about at the end of the day, right? So, and it's a great thing to do right before you go to sleep, right? So, yeah, thumbs up for that. And I just wanted to let you all know that I have now finished balling all of that yarn. Right, so I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit more. Ooh, right? Oh my gosh, look at it all. I don't know what I'm going to do with it all, but I'm happy it fit all in here. I mean, there's some stuff like that ball and that ball right there, but there isn't a lot to do, or isn't a lot in there. But there's a lot of this like white stuff. Some of the white stuff has like some sparkles in it. I don't know, but yeah, right? And I love it that it can fit right in all in this like one little package. And it's clear, and I can see it all, so that way when I go to plan something, I can actually do it. So there's got to be something I can do with all like this white, definitely with the white, maybe a little baby blanket or something, and this like green and / teal stuff. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool, the fact that I could do that. Happy that it's done though. But I mean, there is a few more balls that I have that I might end up just balling because I have it out. Well, you know, now is the time, right? I won't show you guys that, but this in itself is a feat. So happy that it's done though. So are my wrists. Alright, bye. Alright, so my August book of the month has come from Book of the Month Club. Woohoo! And that is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And I believe it is a story about, you know what, I can't remember. I just remember it was good. Alright, so I'm just going to take a quick little sneak peek, make sure I can remember. Oh yes, it's a famous podcaster interviewing a stranger promised to divulge the story of a lifetime. Secrets emerge that threaten to expose the truth of their lives that they've both worked so hard to protect. Ooh, which is really good. It's got me intrigued more so than Inkblood Sister Scribe right now. So, you know, we're going to see how it goes. The point is to keep reading until, like, you know, but the bookmark says my books think I'm cool, which is totally true. I think all my books think I'm cool, even though they're inanimate objects and they wouldn't know the difference if I'm alive or, you know, if I left for like 5 weeks, right? But I think I'm going to focus on my Book of the Month Club books for the rest of August. See how many I can get through. Cool beans. Oh yes, and I always liked the covers. So it's like just like the desk jacket. It is this green and mustard yellow, which I think is very suiting. And I love that they're hardbacks. Oh my goodness. Alright. That's it. This is the update. I do plan to reread more of Inkblood Sister Scribe, but until then, none of this is true. You know, maybe I am not going to read tonight. I don't know, because I do have plans. But we're going to try. Alright, bye! Alright, so today's reading Dippit is that habitual reading makes you kinder, right? And that, you know, you should be reading fiction, not media, even though a lot of media can be fiction. I got that from somewhere, but I thought it was super cool, right? Yeah, so this is something to keep you going. I didn't really get anything reading last night, but I am kind of feeling, or at least last night, was none of this is true. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I'm reading 2 books at one time or how many books I'm reading. The point is that I'm reading, and yeah, as long as I get a book read every week, I don't really care. But the best news is I spent, because I was taking it easy last night, I finished balling all my yarn that I want to ball, or get balled, and which is pretty much all of it. And now, my clear little ball of yarn cabinet baggy thing, it's now packed full. I mean, there's a few balls I want to add to this yarn container, but as of right now, it is where it needs to be. But it's like a sigh of relief, right? I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's just that some acquaintances of ours, they are getting married, and at first I was like, oh, I gotta make them a blanket. And then now I'm just like, no, you don't. Like, you can make them some doilies, some coffee cozies, or something else. But if I want to make them a blanket, I can. I just need to be realistic, because I have 2 projects on the go right now. Plus, I want to make some stuff for a potential craft show. So I may not necessarily have the time for them to get it done for when they get married officially, but as long as it gets done by the end of the year, right? That's all that really matters. I mean, it's a kind gesture, and and you only are good as your word, and I just don't want to say it. I want to have, gotta have more than good attention. So, yeah, gotta do it. All right, bye. All right, so today's reading Dippit is that reading is like cardio for the brain, right? Get you nice to get like your brain just a little bit of exercise there, which is great. And I have also, last night, I have started to read some of None of This Is True, which I think is so far a really great book. I like how it's written because it's based on like a podcast, right? And so like some portion of the interview has just been like interjected with it, and I think that's great. Of course, there's an emergency vehicle going by, right? Because one of the cliffhangers of one of the chapters was that, because it ended off with like the interview being like, oh, like there's like, like the kids were fine until all the murders and killings were happened, and it turned out to be, really intense, right? But yeah, like so far I think it's been great. But the biggest news that came is that my July book of the month arrived. Woohoo! And that's Dark Corners by Megan Goldwyn. There's the book cover and the logo. That right there. Woohoo! I really like that it actually came, and that now I have all of my book of the month books, which I think is going to be my next couple reads for a while. Now that I have like all 4 of them together, I don't know if you can see it. Back up a bit here. But the August book of the month is the only one that doesn't have a little like book of the month emblem on the spine, which kind of sucks. But that's okay, right? And I think that, was it March or April, was like the only month like I didn't end up getting one, because I was just having shipping issues, because it just seems like every other month that I tend to get one. But anyways, that's today. Reading update. Reading Dippit. Yeah, so I'm really liking that none of this is true. I like how it's written. And I'm just happy that I didn't have to ball any more yarn last night, and I was just able to sit and read. I read about 80 pages, and I'm enjoying it. Life, to love, be able to relax and to read some. Always a fun time. Alright, bye! Alright, so today's reading, or daily reading Dippit, is that reading makes you an overall better person. But I think reading makes you an overall well-rounded person instead of better, just well-rounded. So that's kind of great. So last night when I was working at the library on the quick picks shelves, or the express bookshelves, so like the books where you can't put any holds on, you can only have out for a week, Elliot Page came out with their autobiography, which is great, and I started reading it. I think I might pick it up on tomorrow morning on Saturday when I am there. The reason why I didn't pick it up last night is because it was raining and I did not want to take home a library book and then come home and it be drenched. And then I have to pay full price for the book, right? And then potentially not be able to keep the book. I'm sure the book is great. And, as always, I just didn't want to pay for a book, like borrow one, end up having to pay for it, especially full price. If I'm going to pay for a book, it's got to be pristine, not a library book that I just happen to get, If it's good as I'm hoping it's going to be, then when it does get withdrawn, a copy, and it does end up at the bookstore, I may pick it up. But for right now, I'm just going to borrow it potentially because it was really good. It's only like 276 pages, which is like really short. And that, I believe like Elliot and I are like the same age. So it's just like maybe that. And we're both Canadian, Nova Scotia, Larry, and I'm not, but I'm from a different province. But like, it doesn't really matter. And it was just like a really great, I don't know, like I don't think he is the only one like reading, or not reading, writing the book. I think he had somebody help him write it, or maybe Elliot does really write like this somewhat like poetically, right? It was just, from what I've read so far, it was really well written. I really enjoyed it, which, obviously it just makes me want to read more, which is always a good thing. I'm very, very interested in what's going to happen again. So yeah. So did I end up reading yesterday? Yes. Was it one of these 4 books in my current TBR? No. But is that the point? Sort of, not really, no. I guess it's all your perspective because I did end up reading. Yay. Alright, bye. Alright, today is a reading Dippit, is that people who read tend to volunteer and donate more, which could just be coincidental because I volunteer at a bookstore, which I'm doing this afternoon, and I donate blood, which I'm going to do in like 2 weeks, or a week and a half from now. So there's that. Right, and I also love to read. But, I always like to keep minimalism in the mind, right? Just so that way I can, I always donate things on a regular basis, try to do it at least like, like a once a year clean in the winter to donate things. And I think the most important thing when you donate is to not to go into the store, so that way you don't buy things, so that way you're not just shedding things and then bringing things back into the home, right? Even though somebody else's junk is somebody else's treasure, right? But yeah. And so I do also work at the library today, and I volunteer at the library bookstore, so I may come home with a book that I'm going to borrow from the bookstore or from the library, and I may come home with like a few books right from the bookstore, but I know that some of these books are going to be for someone else. I don't know who, but I got some nieces, and gotta always keep them in mind, right? Can't just give them nothing, Get right, and some of these books, maybe if you don't get it now, then you're just not going to get it at all. So you gotta get it while it's hot, as they say. But it got me thinking that because like I'm knitting some mittens. I am knitting them, right, with like 3, right? So it's like a little triangle, right? I find that to be easy. I've taught myself how to do that, right? And I've also seen this kind of a thing on like different kind of needles. What do you find to be easy? I don't know. I think this pattern or this yarn is like I want to say, is it a gradient? It changes color, so I think, and it's because it's knitted, I think it's going to be a really nice little mitten or a glove, because well, it's going to be a fingerless glove that has like one of those like flaps that cover the fingers at the end of it, right? So I could have my fingers exposed and them covered. And I mean, I'm just not sure what I'm going to do with the thumb, right? I mean, it makes sense that it's going to be like go all the way because that's how the fingers are going to be like, but at the same time, I'm just not too sure, right? I don't know. I'm not at that point yet. I mean, I was just so busy last night and I didn't get like much of it done. But you know what? It's gotta get there. Well, it's going to get there, right? And I just, time's funny because at the beginning of the week I spent all this time like balling all that yarn. But now that it's done and I'm happy that it's done and it's out of the way, that feels so long ago. You know what I mean? It was just like, because some of the yarn was on these like cardboard cylinders and they're still in the recycling box. And I was like, man, like that's how I started my week, was like balling this yarn, right? Like it just like, it feels like, I don't know, like just so much longer, but no, it was at the beginning of the week. So yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like my current rant. I'm sure I'll have a book haul later on today to show you. I know. And I know my current reading plans was to read my book of the month books, but you know what? Things change. You gotta go with the flow, right? And yeah. Alright. Bye. Alright, so as before mentioned, I said I was going to get a book haul and a small book haul and a book from the library, but the book I wanted, because I was on the Express, right, from sometime on yesterday, on Friday, somebody took the book that I wanted. Boo! And I was able to get like a copy online, but it was only the first 2 chapters. It was Page Boy by Elliot Page, like his memoir, but don't got any more, but I do have placed a hold on it, so hopefully by next Friday or next Thursday when I'm in the library I can get it and I can finish it off. But yes, for this book haul I got the Very Hungry Caterpillar from the book. These 4 books are all from like the bookstore, and this is a classic. It's a very good condition, right? And I don't know who I'm going to give it to, but you know, this is like a very classic book you have to get for a new baby to be. So I got that because if you don't get it, then it's going to be gone, right? And then for the nieces, I got Goodnight Canada. So for this one, you can get, or it's by Andrea Beck, and you can get like this one, so it's like Goodnight Canada, Goodnight Ontario, Goodnight like British Columbia, like Goodnight Toronto, Goodnight London. It was like, this was very popular like a few years ago, I find, because it's like the same book, but like you can get it like very local as you want. Again, I think that I'm going to give this to the nieces, or one of my nieces, right? And then I ended up picking up The Secret Keeper of Jaipur by Alika Joshi, I'm not too sure. I got it because it's like about like a cinema, and I think this was like very popular a few years back. I'm not too sure, but I think I might just take this to work and like keep it there to read while I'm there. And then the last book I got is Night Shift by Robin Cook. I used to be really into Robin Cook like probably like 10 years ago now, but because like, I mean, these books are all kind of like medical related, because Robin Cook is like a doctor, and he, what do I want to say? I don't know. Yeah, so as I was saying that but like it's very formulaic, everything's the same, but yeah, there's that. But I may just like take off the dust jacket because don't really like it, but you know, Night Shift, I'm willing to give him another try. And I don't know, I'm always like hit and miss with hardbacks, but we'll have to see. Really enjoying it. I'm pretty sure that every once in a while it's nice to go back to like kind of like a comfort author. But yeah, right, so you know, 4 books, right? Night Cook, The Secret Keeper of Jaipur, Goodnight Canada, and The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Yes, success. At least I got these, right? Alright, bye. Alright, so today's reading daily Dippit is that people who read tend to live longer, right? And I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure about how long, right? But isn't that neat? You know, doesn't everybody want to live longer? I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. Priorities, right? Alright, so this is the end of this week's vlog. I didn't end up finishing a lot of books or any books at all, but I did start reading Elliot Page's memoir, Page Boy, and I did finish balling on my yarn, as well as I did get a little book haul, so that's something, right? But I do plan to read a lot more of None of This Is True, because it does sound more interesting, and Page Boy this week, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of like my plans for the week. So yeah, thank you for tuning in to this week's vlog, and we'll see you again next week. Yay! Alright, bye!